Hey everybody, and thank you so much for tuning into today's video where I will be going over 100 kills from RuneScape's newest dungeon, the Sanctum of Rebirth. Now I know that the title isn't as flashy as hard mode kills, but I wanted to make a video showing the results of grinding out 100 normal KC with this new boss. This took quite a long time, and while the dungeon definitely got easier as you learn the mechanics, if you get caught sleeping on any of the bosses, you are going to start the fight over and over again just like I was. Consisting of 3 bosses, there are 4 main drops that you're looking for. The Divine Rage Prayer Book and the Scripture of a Masket can be dropped by all 3 bosses, while the new tier 95 dual wield magic weapons can only be dropped by Nakatra. Along with the time commitment, this is the most fun I've had on RuneScape in a while. The satisfaction that you feel whenever you time mechanics just right is unmatched in any other boss encounter for me. But enough talk, y'all are here to see the drops, let's get into it. I did have a clip of the price check, but it was super laggy, so feel free to pause the video and take a look, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm missing both scriptures and divine prayer books, but with the number that you see on screen plus those 4 items, we accumulated 981.5 mil. However, do not take these prices to heart because none of the uniques were selling for their listed prices, unfortunately. I don't think there are official drop rates out for Sanctum just yet, but from all the broadcasts and the absolute spoonage that some of my friends got, I felt like I was going super dry. I did get 2 of each prayer book and scriptures, probably about 1 in 50 rate, I'm assuming, but I didn't see a tier 95 until my 99th kill, which netted me the Roar of Awakening first, which sort of leads me to believe that the drop rate for the tier 95s are 1 in 100. It was late, I was screaming, and I probably woke up my wife, but we finally hit the big ticket item, and you know we had to run it back, and nothing on our 100th normal mode kill. But I was fired up. So at 1 in the morning, I decided it would be a good idea to re-gear and run a hard mode kill in hopes of either landing a Shard of Genesis or the missing tier 95 offhand. I had completed 3 hard mode kills already, and on my 4th, we managed to complete the tier 95 set with the Ode of Deceit. Here's a clip of the chest, and as you can see, there's the drop. I didn't have the brain power to record the kill. Here is an official total of both normal mode and hard mode KC with the drops. Now I know that the offhand wasn't a normal mode kill, so I don't count that as part of the loot total for my normal mode KC, but if you add it to the loot, if everything were to sell, we accumulated 1,736,322,164 GP. This was a stressful and wild grind. I'm so glad I did it. I have no regrets, and I highly suggest giving this new boss dungeon a shot. The first boss, Vermix, is probably my least favorite of the 3. Kinda feels time gated at the end when pushing for faster kills due to his death animation. Something that I didn't realize early on was that the more heads that are sticking out of the wall, the more damage that will be done to you. And there doesn't seem to be a way of mitigating this because the heads spawn almost immediately after being killed. So I found it best just to ignore them all and kill Vermix as fast as I could. The next boss is Kezalam. Sweet, sweet Kezi boy. I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. Kezalam isn't too bad in normal mode. At the start of the fight, whenever he lights the floor up with squares, it only goes off once, and I realized that you could resonate this attack. So that's what I mainly did. Whenever he traps you in the Moonstone, I always hit Freedom and Death Grasp weapon spec, or I make sure I had Necrosis stacks and use Finger of Death. There weren't too many mechanics that caught me off guard, the trickiest being what I like to call the Growling Squares. This squared attack does go off twice, and how I went about avoiding it was either staying close to him and using the escape ability, then diving back close to him whenever he used the second one, or vice versa, depending on my positioning. And by far, my favorite fight of the dungeon is with Nakatra. You almost certainly will die your first time trying this boss. There are so many mechanics that really tested my abilities as a player, and I'd like to think I came out on the other side more skilled than I was. I always use Resonance for her Be Obliterated attack because it only hits once in normal mode, giving me a fat free heal. And for the longest time, I didn't even realize that there were hieroglyphics on the walls that told you where the safe spots were. So at about kill 50, I had almost all of them memorized. I also didn't know that when you successfully dive out of the way of the squares, you get another charge of the dive ability back, so that's actually really beneficial. I picked that up at about kill 30, and my kills started going a lot smoother. For the dog mechanic, I just vulnerability bomb, split souls, volley of souls, weapon spec, and that usually takes care of the first one. And then for the second one, you do the same, but substitute the other weapon spec and blow and touch of death, etc, etc. You get the idea. Just kill them as fast as you can. Also, apparently you do more damage to the dogs if you stay close, but I wasn't too worried about it. I guess I kind of noticed, but well, whatever. Whenever she takes you to the desert, you have to click on a soul-like orb that spawns 2 feline ox, whatever you want to call them. I would just hit Threads of Fate before clicking on them, Soul Sap, Touch of Death, and then Finger of Death so I could get some free souls to use against Nakatra. Make sure to pray melee while you're here though. Also, pay attention to the hieroglyphics in the back because you'll need to stand on the one that isn't showing once you go back up to the boss room. Once you get pulled back into the boss room, make your way to the missing symbol and stand on it. And this is where I would dump everything I had. Split soul, death skulls, you name it. The hardest mechanic by far is her outward bursting squares. If you look closely, you can time it just right to when the first square explodes, you can simply just step right inside, taking no damage. Make sure to step back out though because she does it twice. And that's about it. I'm a mid-tier PVMer at best, and I was using pretty high necromancy gear because it's kind of all I have, but I guarantee normal mode can be done on a budget setup. And if you guys would like to see a budget guide, I can try my best at making one for you. I'm wanting to start branching off into other areas of RuneScape content, so let me know what you would like to see. Also, if you're new here, I ask that you consider subscribing, leaving a comment about what you may have liked or disliked about the video, and leaving a like. I love reading all the comments. You guys have been so awesome to me, and I appreciate every one of you. Catch you in the next one. Bye.